Can you lift your hands to Him tonight? Sing hallelujah. Sing hallelujah. Sing hallelujah. Just worship Him, praise Him, extol Him, exalt Him, bring Him words tonight. Let it come from your heart. One more time. One more time. Can you lift your hands to Him tonight? Sing hallelujah. Just worship Him, praise Him, extol Him, exalt Him, bring Him words tonight. Let it come from your heart. One more time.
Hi, my name is Kemi Onoja. I'm a proud member of the ATQ community, and it has been a wonderful experience being part of it. I have been able to get answers to so many questions that I have about kids, about growing up. Times have changed, seasons have changed. Parenting is such a wonderful but different experience from when we're growing up, and to be able to get it right, you need advice, you need help. You can't do it alone. The ATQ community has helped in so many ways, from my teenager, the hormones, and understanding them, being able to bring out the best in them, in my children, being able to see their gifts, understand their gifts, and not get frustrated about it. I mean, there will be times where kids will frustrate you, kids will stress you, kids will tempt you. You can hear them knocking on my door right now. But the ATQ community have helped with that, and answer questions, with ease, in fun ways, give advice from books, from people's experiences. It has been wonderful. I'm grateful to God for it. And I pray that whoever listens to this decides to become a member, you would not regret it. It's been an awesome experience. I take it from me, myself, and my generations, my generals are grateful for it. Thank you.
more time. Can you lift your hands to him tonight? Sing hallelujah. Just worship him, praise him, extol him, exalt him, bring him words tonight. Let it come from your heart. One more time. One more time. Can you lift your hands to him tonight? Sing hallelujah. Just worship him, praise him, extol him, exalt him, bring him words tonight. Let it come from your heart. One more time.
More music at kingdomboys.com.
He who comes to God must know that he is and is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. We know you are a rewarder of those who diligently seek your face. Everybody say, we know you are our rewarder of those who diligently seek your face. Say, all power is in your hands, and with you nothing is impossible to you. Somebody say it one more time. Say, we know you are our rewarder of those who diligently seek your face. All power is in your hands. With you, nothing is impossible to do. Somebody lift your hands with me. Say, this is the confidence. This is the confidence that when we run to you, oh, what you cannot fix, what you cannot do, what you cannot solve does not exist. Somebody say, what you cannot fix, what you cannot do, what you cannot solve, what you cannot solve does not exist. Somebody just wave your hands to the doer of all things. Say, we know you are our rewarder of those who diligently seek your face. All power is in your hands, and with you nothing is impossible to do. Somebody say it one more time. Say, we no. You are our rewarder of those who diligently seek your face. Say, all power is in your hands, and with you nothing is impossible to do. This is the confidence. This is the confidence. Hey! What you cannot be, what you cannot do, what you cannot solve, does not exist. Somebody say, what you cannot be, what you cannot do, what you cannot solve. One more time, somebody say, this is the confidence. That's why we come to you. What you cannot be, what you cannot do, Pastor Jerry Hazen.
Exactly 3 weeks ago, and it's such a blessing to recount a great wonder of God. 3 weeks ago, while we were on our 7 a.m. morning prayers, and just in between the prayers, I had a Spirit of God said to me that there is someone that is beside a dead woman. And then the Spirit of God begins to say to me, tell the person to increase the volume of the phone and place it right beside the dead woman. And as the testimony was eventually going to enter, and the person said that as soon as they heard that, meanwhile, few hours before the time, their mom had just been confirmed clinically dead. Clinically dead. The doctors had confirmed and they were lamenting. And it didn't make sense that in the middle of that kind of pain, that their sister was listening to a prayer going on the phone. But as soon as the word of knowledge came, she increased the volume and placed it right beside their mother. And the prayers were going on and on and on and on and on and on. And she said, Pastor, by the time you were done praying, and she said, we waited for my mom to come back to life. And she didn't come back to life. And it felt like her world was tumbling right down on her. And then she had questions on her mind. Was it true that God said? Could it be true that that wasn't God? Was it not my mom that God was talking about? And she felt God had really disappointed them. But people of God, 5 minutes later, 5 minutes later, 5 minutes later, for the scripture says, how many of you will your children ask for bread and you will give them a stone? How many of you will your children ask for fish and you will give them a snake? The Bible says, and women receive their dead back to life. We are in a season of a revival of the strange acts of God. A revival of the strange acts of God. No longer what the people ask us, where is your God? While we were dealing with that, another woman brought in another testimony, and she said, before I joined the morning prayers, my husband had been operated on because of brain cancer. And then she said, while coming on the prayer, her faith was totally built up. And then the husband was operated and the husband was unconscious. And the doctor came and told her, I said, woman, we really tried to avoid the corridors, some sensitive corridors. He said, but we couldn't. And he said, I'm afraid to tell you, your husband will not recover for the next 6 months. That is, he will become conscious in the next 6 months. And he may never walk. He may never walk. He may never walk. And the woman replied, the doctor, what God cannot do does not exist. And the woman, the doctor replied, the woman, you think I'm not making sense? The woman said, I didn't say that. What I am saying is, what God cannot do does not exist. And so the
All right, blessed evening, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the last session for the day. God bless you all for being here. If you can see me, I'd like to see your comment in the comment section, letting us know that you can see us. Okay, great learning. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. Welcome once again. If you have been with us since the day started, today has been loaded, you know. If you have been with us here since the day started and you have learned something, please, I'd like you to put it in the comment section. What has today been for you? In one word, in simple sentences, what has it been for you on the day 4 of no conference. I like to see your comments. Great learning being here. Thank you so much. God bless you. Ijoma, thank you. Thank you for your emojis. Thank you so much. My name is Stella Chichio Boko, and I'll be your moderator for this evening. I want to say thank you to ATQ and the 360 Connect community for letting me moderate this evening. It's a pleasure being here and having you all join me in this session. I'm so excited. This is day 4 already, and this is our last session for today. Now, ATQ is a growing community of parents, carers, and safe adults. What do we do in ATQ? We answer questions, tough questions that children are asking. And then we here on ATQ, we ensure that no child's question goes unanswered. What do? We equip parents, we share, we learn on how best ways to answer the questions our children are asking. And if you're here with us this evening and you are not yet a member, what are you waiting for? Please, immediately you see the link, please join our community. Now, before we move on, I want to ask you for two favors. One, subscribe to our YouTube channel and share. Follow us on our Facebook page. If you're on Facebook, follow us and then begin to share. Today is Friday, right? Invite everybody to be here now. Yes, I can see your comment. Today has been tremendous, inspiring, knowledge-filled, beautiful. Thank you so much, Ijoma, for that comment. Thank you, Vera, for your emojis. Thank you all for being here today. It's a pleasure. All right, so ATQ is 2. Yes, we clocked 2 yesterday, to the glory of God. And amazing testimonies from this group for the past 2 years. God has indeed been faithful to us. And we have one of us coming to share her testimony. Please, let's watch this testimony before we move on.
Good afternoon. My name is Gift Ike Chukwuma. I'm a member of ATQ community. It's a community where parents bring their tough questions from their children and their teenagers. I've been part of the ATQ community for the past 2 years, and my experience has been remarkable. When I joined ATQ, I've always had this desire to be able to handle children properly. And coming to ATQ, it made me to realize several things. First and foremost, how to treat every child as an individual, and how to be patient to be able to listen to their various complaints. ATQ for me has not just only been for the children, it's also been for me. It has been a time of growth for me personally. It has also been a time of learning, relearning, and unlearning several things, because in ATQ we are engaged to read books monthly, and we also have monthly seminars which are power-packed information jam. I sincerely appreciate the convener of ATQ, Mrs. Stella Oboko, for creating such a platform where parents can find answers to
All right, thank you so much for that testimony. You've had it all. Again, immediately you see the links to the WhatsApp group, the Facebook group, please click on it and join. Amazing things are happening there. We are learning every single day. So why not be a member? Join us immediately. All right, I'm happy to announce that our speaker is here already. Okay, and today she will be speaking on the topic, understanding your child's growth and development. You can't be too sure that you know and understand. So happy that we have a professional in our midst this evening to share with us. Before Dr. Jimoh takes over the stage, please, would like to have her bio. Thank you.
Dr. Adenike Jimoh. Dr. Adenike Oluwayemisi Jimoh is an associate professor of pediatrics in the College of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences, Birmingham University, Jos Campus, and a consultant pediatrician at the Birmingham University Teaching Hospital, Jos. She is also the founder and CEO of Orobo Visionary Coaching Co., a company that provides tailored coaching, training, and support to empower leaders to create positive change in their communities. The company focuses on raising leaders who raise others and strive to strengthen individuals with confidence to lead and speak confidently in their own skin. She is a fellow of the Faculty of Pediatrics, National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria, and a fellow of the Population and Reproductive Health Initiative. She has a certificate in project management, leadership, and management in health, master's degree in international affairs and diplomacy, postgraduate diploma in education. She has successfully researched and published several works on pediatric neurology and neural development. Dr. Jimoh has a special bias in child development and reproductive health interface. She is an advocate for classes with flexible walls where every child has access to education, the barriers of bricks and mortar eliminated, and the learning content tailored to the needs of the child and the society. Dr. Adenike Jimoh is happily married with children. Please welcome Dr. Adenike Jimoh as she speaks on the topic, understanding your child's growth and development.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Nice to be here. Nice to be among parents, caregivers who have great interests in their children. This is really nice. I must commend what you do here. This is very beautiful. And let me just start by wishing you the very best and congratulations in clocking 2 years. You know, it's what you start that grows. Well, at least we're talking about growth right now. It's what you start that grows. And for the fact that you have started ATQ, you can see ATQ growing. And my prayer is that it will continue to grow from strength to strength, and that not just in strength, but also in making impact in the world. So thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Nice of you to join us at this point. So I'll be talking about understanding the growth and development of your child. So we'll just get right into it. Now, for every mother and every parent, basically, either the father or the mother, your interest, right, is that once you give birth to your child, the child should grow, and not just you seeing the child growing, but you want the child to grow to the point that he or she becomes an adult, and over time, takes over the things that you are doing. Every parent always looks forward to that. And because of that, you see so many parents, safeguarding, the growth and development of their children. So I just want to, this evening, I'll just give you some little tips to help you to understand how growth patterns should be and how the developmental patterns should be. Again, I want you to understand the factors that affect the growth and development of a child, and then how do you handle children who have growth or developmental challenges. Okay, so let's get right into it. Now, there's something that people commonly do. People usually mix up that word growth and development. You see, something that they'll be referring to the growth of the child and say, no, my child is developing well. Or sometimes they will refer to the development of the child. So my child is growing well. All right. So let's start by first of all understanding what is growth and what is development. So when you are referring to growth, okay, you are referring to the physical size, the size of the body, which is really a function of the multiplication and the size of cells. So, and growth is primarily a quantitative function. All right, growth is a quantitative function. So you're referring to the quantity of the cells, the multiplication of the cells, the size of the cells. So the process of growth starts from fertilization. And if you have, I don't know, taken particular note of some posters or some pictures on fertilization, so that when after the egg and sperm, then start talking on multiplication, then you start seeing two cells, a cell divided into two, then divided into four, then divided into eight, then 16, 32, and it goes on like that. Okay, so basically that's what, when you're talking about growth, that's what you're referring to. Now, development, on the other hand, refers to the level of functioning or the capability of the child. Okay, so while growth is a function of multiplication, number, and size of cells, development is a function of maturation of the nervous system. All right, so development refers to the child's ability to carry out certain functions, which is linked to the growth. But when you're talking of development, you're talking of qualitative change. All right, so growth refers to quantitative change, whereas development refers to qualitative change that occurs in the body. So while we're talking of growth in terms of from fertilization up to adulthood, in development, we're talking of acquisition of skills. Okay, acquisition of skills in a particular order, such that the child moves from dependence to independence. Okay, I'm sure that it is clear. Growth, you're talking of a child moving from fertilization up to adulthood. But for development, you're talking of a child moving from the point that he's completely dependent. Okay, but as he moves on, as he grows, skills that help him to become independent. Okay, so growth is quantitative and development is qualitative. So now that we have set all that in motion, let me just help us to understand certain things that probably we've been hearing people say, just, oh, it is a toddler, oh, it's an infant, oh, preschool, and all that. So I'll just take you through what are the various ages and what we call them, what we refer to them as, the various periods in growth and development. Now, from the time a child is born to the time that the child is about 28 days, thereabout, or let me just say generally like a month old, okay, the child is referred to as a neonate. Now, from 1 month to 1 year, the child is referred to as an infant. Now, from 1 year to 3 years, the child is referred to as a toddler, and from is referred to as a preschooler. Now, school age is 6 to 12 years. So for all of us that are sending our children to school before 6 years, you know that your child is not yet in the school age, all right? So your child is a preschooler, all right, if the child is not yet 6. But 6 to 12, the child is a preschooler. An adolescent, we're referring to the child being from 10 to 19 years of age. Okay, so I just want to take us through certain principles of growth and development. Now, one thing I must tell you is this: development, particularly, is predictable. You can predict development. And one of the basic principles in development is that there is a change. Even in growth, one thing that you are sure of is that if growth is occurring, if development is occurring, then there is a change in size, a change in quantity, a change in maturation. And that's one thing that we must accept as parents. Change. They will change in size, they will change in their skills, what they can do, what they cannot do. Okay, from what they cannot do to what they can do, there will always be a change. And that's one thing that, in as much as everybody shouts, I want to change, sometimes changes are difficult to accept. But please know this, your child will change. So now, the principles of growth and development, I'll just take you through some of them. Number one is that growth and development is continuous. So like I said earlier on, from the point of conception to the point of change, there's change in body size, there's change in maturation, there's change in behavior. Number two is that growth and development is sequential. All right? It's sequential. Move from one thing to the other. For instance, before a child can sit, he must be able to hold his neck. It does not go the other way. Before a child can walk, he must stand. Okay, so growth is sequential. So you move from, the child moves from neck control to sitting. Initially, he starts by sitting in support. Then as he matures, he's able to sit on his own. Okay, then he's able to reach out to things. Then he's able to stand, and then he's able to walk. After walking, he's able to run. So it goes in that sequence. Then again, another principle is that growth and development moves from general to specific. And if we have taken particular note, when a baby is born, you see that when they are moving, they move the whole body. All right, they are wriggling the whole body, But as they grow, then they move to the point that they can actually do specific things like waving. All right, they wave. When you are saying bye-bye, they can wave at you. So when a child is old enough to say bye-bye, he doesn't carry his whole body and be wriggling the body. No, it becomes more specific. All right, he becomes more specific and he can actually say bye-bye. All right, so that is another principle. And that principle is that there's differentiality. Boys are boys, girls are girls, and there's a difference. So let's stop trying to say, no, what a boy can do, a girl can do. Well, maybe we use it to encourage the boys or encourage the girls. But the truth is that boys are different from girls and girls are different from boys. And growth and development is one area whereby boys and girls are different. The speed of growth, the speed of development, okay, differs between boys and girls. All right. So another principle is that things move, growth and development, particularly development, moves from simple things to complex things. So initially, if you give a child a pencil, all right, he'll grab the pencil and use his whole palm to hold the pencil. But as the child grows older, you give him the same pencil, then he uses his index finger and his thumb to actually hold the pencil. So that's like moving from palmer to pincer. So the palmer is so simple, just hold up his hand and hold the pencil. But as he grows older, then he's able to hold with his index finger and his thumb. Okay. And again, another thing that please, this next principle, I really want us to hold on to it strongly, which is growth and development is individualized. Every child at his own pace. Every child at his own pace. So you cannot use your neighbor's child to rate your own child. You cannot use the firstborn, all right, to compare the secondborn. Every child with his own pace. You hear many mothers say, oh, but my child, the first one sat at 9 months. Sorry, the first one walked at 9 months. And this one is just, he's 11 months. He has not started walking. What is the problem? No. There's a range, quite all right, okay, within which we expect the child to walk. If not, we'll say that the child is delayed. But some children walking at 9 and some walking at 10, 11, they're still within their own range. And they're moving at their, and they're all good. Okay, they're all good. All right. So every child has his own pace, and every child must be allowed his own individuality. The next principle is that certain growth and development occur at certain stages in life. For instance, during the adolescent period, we can all relate, I'm sure, that certain changes occur in the body and you don't see it before the adolescent period. In fact, if you see those secondary sexual characteristics before the adolescent period, then we start getting worried. What's going on? My child is already like as if it's already growing breasts, already growing hair, already going, having and everything like that. And then say, how old is the child? Just he's just 6, so he's just 7. And you just there must be a problem. But you see, if these things happen when the child is 11, 12, 13, you don't worry. All right. So certain changes occur at certain times of the child's development. Finally, is that growth and development is orderly. It is gradual and it is orderly. So for the many parents that want to speed up a child's growth and development, just hold your brakes. All right. Growth and development is gradual and is orderly. Any attempt to try and speed it up faster than it should be going for, then you know that you are getting the child into problem. Now, let me take a little bit into what happens at the brain level. Now, from time the child is conceived and when the brain development starts, there are what we call cells, nerve cells that make up, the cells that transmit information in the brain. Okay, the basic units of the brain are the neurons or the nerve cells. So what these nerve cells do is that they store and transmit information. Now, of course, it's like this. If you have information at point A and you want to get it to point B, I'm sure you all agree with me that if point A and point B can be connected by maybe a string, a wire, a road, a bridge, or something, then the information will be transmitted faster. Okay? So the same thing that occurs in the brain. There's what we call synapses. All right? Synapses, which is what connects different nerve cells to each other. All right? So that information can now be easily transported. So during the prenatal period of development, all right, the brain nerve cells or the neurons, they proliferate so much. All right. In fact, basically, you can say like the brain overproduces, all right, neurons in massive number. So by the time the child is born and by the time the child is in infancy and toddlerhood, remember the ages I said? Infancy is 1 month to 11 months or 12 months, 1 year, and toddlerhood is 1 to 3 years. So during that period, a lot of synapses are occurring. All right. So nerve cells are connecting with each other. They are connecting with each other. So much information is passed from one nerve cell to another nerve cell, from one nerve cell to another nerve cell. And that's how, if you notice, these children, they are learning new things. They are trying out new things. It's a function of the brain development at that period. All right. So the synapses that are connecting, all right, is really quite much. And that stage is what we call the stage of blooming. All right. When you say flower blooms, all right, that's the stage of blooming. Now, as the child grows older, the synapses start reducing. All right. There's what we call pruning. That's the stage of pruning. Now it's like if you've taken notes, if you've seen grapevine. Now when you want your grapes to do better, when you want them to grow better, bigger, and other, you prune them. All right, something like that also occurs at the brain level, such that there's a period that there's a reduction of the synapses in order to improve the efficiency or the function of the brain. So that period is called the pruning. So the brain and the brain of the child goes through that process of blooming and pruning, such that simple skills start becoming complex, and then ability to do certain skills increase, and then the child is able to learn new possibilities. Okay, that's basically it for growth and development. At least that introduction. So, what are the factors that affect the child's growth and development? Now, there are many factors, right? Many factors. Some people have said, is it nature in terms of the child's genetic composition, or is it nurture in terms of how you care for the child? Is it nurture or is it nature? Okay, and it has been found that you need both of them. All right, the child's genetic composition is just as important in the child's growth and development as the child's nurture, the environment in which the child is nurtured. So for the child's nature, you'll be talking about the genetic factors that affect the child's growth. For instance, if the father is a tall man and the mother is a tall woman, then you see that you say, oh, you look so much like your daddy, you look so much like your mommy. And then what did they see? They see that the child is very tall. All right. If the parents are on the short side, just say, Kai, this is your child, is just like you, your son. What they are telling you is that this child is growing just the same way that they have actually seen, okay, your own growth. All right. So those are some of the genetic factors, in addition to the fact that certain diseases too that affect growth and development are also genetically related. All right, like dwarfism, no, like excessive height, okay, tallness, and all that, and certain other diseases that actually affect growth and development, okay, are a function of some genetic factors. Now, in terms of nurture, what are the factors that influence growth and development? Number one is food. Food. All right. Nutrition. Okay. So for nutrition, and I'm sure we all understand that the growth of a child does not start from after the child is born. Growth and development starts from before the child is born, when the child is in utero, still in the uterus. So the mother's nutritional status affects the child. The mother's nutritional status will definitely affect the child. So if the mother is well nourished, she's likely to have a child who is well nourished. She's likely to give birth to a child who has good weight and who has developed well. If the mother is malnourished, she's likely to have very small child who is not growing well. Other things that from the mother that can affect the child while the child is still growing in utero include certain lifestyles that the mother may take to. For instance, if the mother is used to taking alcohol, or she's used to smoking, okay, and she does that particularly even when she's pregnant with the child, all that affects the development and the growth of the baby. Other factors from the mother that can affect the child include maternal illnesses. So if the mother is hypertensive, that can affect the growth of the baby. Baby may come out very small because as the mother is hypertensive, especially if it's not well controlled, okay, that can affect the vessels that carry blood to the child, that give nutrients to the child. So all that will cause a depletion of nutrients available to the child, and then the child will come out with growth retardation. So the hypertensive mother, diabetic mother, or mothers on some other medications. Okay. That's why it's very important for mothers to go for antenatal care and attend to any illness that they may have noticed during the antenatal, or any illness that mother had even prior to the time of conception, because your health as a mother affects the health of the child that is being carried. Now, apart from maternal factors, other things also affect the child. Like I said, food. Okay. Now, not even the food that the mother is getting, but the food that the child is eating. Okay, starting from breast milk. If the child is not well fed or is not having good nutritional input from good breastfeeding, from appropriate complementary feed, rich complementary feed, to rich family diet, definitely the child will not grow well. Definitely. Okay, it will affect the child's growth. I'm sure we all know this. At the same time, while I'm saying it to affect the child's growth, instead that the child will not grow well, there are two sides to it. The child will not grow well. The child may not grow well in terms of being undernourished. The child may also not grow well in terms of being overnourished. So there are two angles to it. So feeding well does not always mean that it is undernourishment. Okay, feeding well, or sorry, not feeding well does not always mean that it is undernourishment. A mother may not be feeding well because she's sorry, the child may not be feeding well because the child is overeating or eating the wrong food, okay, that is best for his or weight, his age, and his stage in life. Okay, so nutrition is one very important factor. Another important factor is the environment that the child grows in. So if a child grows in an environment whereby he's always loved, he's given attention, they listen to him, they use positive words on him or her, all right, that child is likely to grow well, likely to develop well. Unlike the child who, grows up in a harsh environment, definitely that child will not develop well, that child will not grow well. Okay. Recently, I read a story of someone who was carrying out an experiment and who decided to speak positive words to his plant. In fact, he had not even really said, the plant as if has really has grown so far, very young sprout. And he had another plant that he was speaking negative words. All right. And he realized that the plant that he was speaking positive words to, all right, did very well. All right, was doing very well. So that's how important, okay, the environment is, okay, to the growth and development of a child. A child who grows in an environment where he's not allowed to express himself or herself is not likely to be interested in exploring the environment. I see the exploration of the environment is what brings about new learning. Okay, it's what helps a child to learn. And the more the child learns, the more mature the child becomes, the better developed, okay, the child is. Now, there's certain other factors that affect the growth and development of a child. Certain diseases affect the growth and development of a child. If the child is always falling sick, like children with sickle cell anemia, they are likely to have, recurrent illnesses, and then that can eventually affect their growth. Okay, their development may not really be affected, but at least their growth, will be affected. Then socioeconomic class, okay, sure that goes without saying. All right. Then even geographical influences, even geographical influences. Sometimes you say that this child, African children, yeah, and all those kind of things, and then you compare them to children from the Western world. I say, oh, this child from Western world, oh, he's by 7, oh, he's already used computer, he knows what to do, he knows how to operate the computer, he knows how to do some programming and everything like that. Then you take maybe the average African child, all right, of the same age, and just say, he's just doing pangolo, games and all that. You understand? So you see, certain geographical influences, all right, really affects the development of the child. It depends on what the child is exposed to. All right. Now, um, the other thing is that one thing I want to draw our attention to is that when mothers take their children for antenatal, okay, sometimes they just focus on postnatal and immunization. Sometimes they just focus on giving the immunization, but it's also very important that you also ensure that your child is weighed, okay, and if possible, the length of the child too should be taken, and especially the weight, okay, because it helps you to actually monitor the growth and development of the child. It gives you assurance and it helps you to know if things are not going well, okay, early, so that way you can quickly take necessary steps to correct the problem. Now, there are certain factors that actually there are certain things that occur, certain illnesses that occur to the child as the child is growing. Because I'm moving now to the factors that actually affect the growth and development of a child. Specifically, I'm moving to children with challenges of growth and development, children with disabilities. Okay, children with disabilities. So one of the things is that when a child is born, for instance, and the child does not cry on time, ideally, when the child is born, the child should cry immediately. But there are situations whereby the child does not cry on time. That's what we call asphyxia. Okay. That will affect the development of the child because that will cause an injury to the brain. Now, if any condition causes an injury to this child's growing brain, it will definitely affect the child's growth and development. So some of the conditions, one of it is one I just told you about asphyxia. And that condition is severe neonatal jaundice. Okay, if the child experiences severe neonatal jaundice, all right, it can cause an injury to the brain. Once the jaundice, the yellow discoloration stains the brain, okay, the child, the the brain is injured, and that will affect the growth and development. Some other factors include illnesses like meningitis, severe malaria, different illnesses that can affect a child. Sometimes the illness is even before the child is born. So some maternal illnesses, okay, affecting the developing brain will eventually lead the child to have some, not just faltering in terms of being delayed, but an injury that can even affect the size of even the brain. So now what happens to children who have disabilities? Children with disabilities, it's a challenge, not just to the parents, but even to the child. Okay? So they experience a lot of challenges. The parents experience a lot of challenges. The communities where they are, the larger family, their society, their communities experience, there's a way that it affects everybody. Now, for the child who has a disability, he has to also experience, apart from the challenges of what he has to experience from that disability, he's also going to have to contend with stigmatization. All right. He's going to contend with people saying, no, you can't do this. You're not fit for this. He's going to contend with being left behind his peers because his peers will be moving on, and then he can't move along with them. Okay. The parents, they're going to contend with, again, stigmatization. Then the challenge of caring for a child who ideally, with normal growth and development, should be moving towards independence. But this child is not moving towards independence. This child is dependent for a long time. That's a major challenge. Because every day they wake up, they not see the child having new skills or acquiring new skills. they see that the child is 7 years old or 10 years old and cannot get up by himself or herself, just say, excuse me, I need to use the convenience. They still have to use Pampers for the child. So they have that burden. All right. So many times it affects the the economic power of the family, because where the parents have otherwise both gone out to work to earn more money to cater for the family, one parent may have to step back so that they can actually continue to look after the child. Okay. Apart from the fact that they will have to continuously visit the hospitals for follow-ups for different problems that the child may encounter. All right. Then the other thing is, if the child now has other problems, for instance, a child who has an injury to the brain and who has a condition whereby we call cerebral palsy, okay, may also have some other problems like seizures. Okay, so all that calls for more attention on the child and can actually destabilize the family. The father may feel, oh, you're giving too much attention to the child, or the mother may feel, oh, you're not helping me to take care of this child, or the siblings may feel that, oh, why is this only this child? Why is it only my brother? Why is it only my sister? You're always paying attention. Me too, I need your attention. So if it is not well managed, okay, it can actually cause family stress, okay, family tension. All right. Then now, when we talk of the community, the larger community, the way things are, people don't want to, people want everybody to look normal. People have a picture of how everybody should look, including children, and they find it difficult to accept the fact that some children had challenges along the way, and they may not look like every other child. Okay, so there's that rejection from society. There's a way that society sets a standard and feels that, no, sorry, you cannot meet up. I remember one particular situation, and I keep telling this story everywhere because it has really, 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 really touched me. I had one of my patients who one time he came, and then he's a twin, and then he was just like, well, when it comes to around, and I'm just like, okay, how are you doing? How is school? He's able to go to school. So how is school and all that? Though he's not doing as well as his twin, but one day he came and he was just like, was saying that he got socks in their speech and prize giving day. I was just like, oh, okay, he got socks? Said yes. So the father was explaining to him that yes, his brother who is doing very well. When it's a first position English, they'll call the twin brother. First position math, they'll call the twin brother. First position basic science or something like, they'll call the twin brother. So the school now felt that, okay, to compensate the twin brother who has a challenge, who has a neurodevelopmental problem, they also gave him a small gift, a socks. I may call it a small gift, but for the boy, it was a big gift. It was really a big gift. So when a society, when a community, all right, accepts and understand with children who have developmental challenges or growth challenges, it goes a long way in helping them. I was sharing with a colleague just last week, and I was saying that, look, a child with neurodevelopmental disorder or neurodevelopmental or neurological problem is still a child and still deserves to be treated like a child. Yes, there has been an injury to the brain, but it doesn't take the childhood away from that child. That child still needs love, that child still needs care, that child still needs patience, that child still needs all the positive words that you can give the child. That child still needs nurturing, that child still needs love. All right? It may be more demanding, the child may need more than he will have actually required, but he still needs it. So we're not doing medical lecture today. And my intention is just to share this information, not to make medical doctors out of the participants. So basically, children who have challenges, who are not growing well, or who are faltering in their development, okay, still need the same love, care, attention that you will give any other child. They just need it 2 times more or 3 times more. All right. So um, I need you to understand that in a child's growth and development, change is sure banker. And change occurs from the moment of conception to the point that the child is an adult. In fact, to the point of death. And development is qualitative. Hence, you can see that the child's ability to learn new things helps the child to mature even more. Growth is quantitative, and many factors from the child genetic composition to the way the child is nurtured affects the child's growth and even development. Many, including geographical influences, socioeconomic class, affects the child's growth and development. And irrespective of where the child is, growth and development is sequential. The child moves from one point to another point. Boys and girls are different, and each child is unique. Okay, so I hope that you have good understanding of your child's growth and development. I welcome questions maybe um, as you may want to ask. All right. So thank you very much once again for having me. Okay. Growth and development is a big topic. All right. So it's not something that we can finish in one night, but I just felt that I should give us certain preambles. But then probably some things will come up when we are asking our questions. So once again, thank you very much. Okay.
Okay, please apologies for the delay. We are so sorry for keeping you waiting, ma. We are so sorry also to our audience for keeping you waiting. Thank you so much, ma. I thought I was being heard all the times I was talking. I didn't know that no one was hearing me. All right, thank you so much, Mark. And there's power of love here. Um, Someone is saying, I want to pick out the comments we are having here. Um, each child is unique. Thank you, Dr. Jimoh. That's from Patience. Princess is saying, thank you, ma. Very educative. Edward is saying, thank you very much, ma. Edward Oboko, it's my husband, man. Mabel is saying, thank you, ma'am. Please, a child who's almost 2 years of age who met all developmental milestones but is yet to talk. He babbles mama, dada, and some other words that we don't understand. So she's asking, is it okay to say that the child is experiencing speech delay? He doesn't respond to his name when he's being called also. We've also had him say daddy, not once or twice, but not regularly.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, let me put it this way. Number one, development occurs in domains. So there are different domains. For instance, there's the gross motor domain, which refers to the child's ability to hold his neck, ability to sit, ability to walk, ability to run, okay, ability to jump, walk up and down the stairs and all that. That's the gross motor. There's what we call the fine motor domain, which refers to the child's ability to write, to hold a pencil, to put pegs in small holes and all that. So when child is doing things with his hands and all that, fine skills, all right, ability to to build small bricks and all that. Another domain is speech and language, which refers to the child's ability to speak appropriately, to also understand instructions. Then hearing and language. So there are different domains. Self-care, okay, ability of the child to even wait his turn. It appears at different stages, all right. Like you don't expect a 3-year-old or 4-year-old to understand, go and queue up. Okay, they don't care, they just want everything and all that. But a 5-year-old child should be able to say no, you should be able to wait your turn. All right. So self-care, when a child is 5 years old, you expect the child to, well, if the child wants to use the toilet, you expect the child just say, I want to pee, or mommy, let me go to the toilet, or something like that. At 10 months, the child probably just wriggle and cry to indicate that his diaper is wet or something. So I just need to understand that while a child may be doing well, very well in one domain, he may be doing poorly in another domain. And from what your question is depicting, is as if this child is not doing so well in the speech domain. However, I'll prefer if the child is assessed so that we can actually tell if this child is really not doing well in the speech domain and how poorly he's doing, because he may just be a year below his expected, and he may eventually catch up. Secondly, is that we able to assess if the child is even hearing well, because if a child does not hear well, he can't speak well. That's how it goes. If the child is not hearing well, then he can't speak well. Then you also want to assess other behaviors, all right, to see whether this speech is coming together with certain other behaviors that may help us to put together a particular diagnosis. So this is my advice. Number one is you need to see a speech therapist. All right, I'm sure the person that presented, Miss Patience Olaya, that presented this afternoon, she's a speech therapist, and she saw that I've worked with her. I've worked that, and she's beautiful. She's good. She's good. I'm comfortable. I send my patient to her for assessment, and she does it beautifully well and all that. So she's a great speech therapist. I think if you can link up with her, so that she can assess your child, all right, and then give a feedback. And from there, I don't know where you are, you may want to visit a teaching hospital and see a pediatric neurologist. Okay, that will really help. So maybe you should first of all have an assessment of the child. Okay, that's what I feel. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you for answering. I hope your question have been answered and you understood what was said. In case you missed the session before this, I think she said she talked about a lot about speech, growth in the area of speech, and then her contact was she also dropped her contact there. You can contact patients online. That is her field. All right, Ma, we have another person saying, Adewumi is saying, thank you, Ma, for the insightful teaching. I have got some insight in the development of a child in relation to nutrition. Well done, Auntie Stella, for putting this together. More grace. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I also have a question around this nutrition. Are there type of food eaten in some areas that make some people, maybe some geographical areas, that make it look as if people around that area grow taller than people from some particular area, or is it just a genetic thing? I know that people from far north are very tall, and then some part of the eastern part of Nigeria, you get to see that so many of them are not just averagely high, um, average in height. Is it really genetic, or there could be a nutrition imbalance in all this?
Okay, all right. So it's not really nutrition. In fact, it goes beyond even the shores of Nigeria. All right. If you look at the average German person, all right, so that's the average German, sorry, they are stocky, all
Yeah.
right. Compare that to the Asian, all right, they're smallish, all right. Compare that to the average American, okay, they're on the big side, you know. Compare, so people differ, in their genetic makeup, all right, vis-a-vis where their geographical location is from, all right. And even in the north, you find that the average, if you look at the average Hausa man, for instance, he's tall and all that. But if you compare him with the Fulani man is slim and tall.
Yeah.
All right. So geographical influences also play a role in the way that we look. All right. If you look at the average Yoruba person, all right, the average Yoruba woman, for instance, she's endowed. You understand, you know? So, which you may not see in the cold north, man, you understand? So, we're different. We're different. All right, we're different. And I believe that's where that God has made us. That's where He has designed us. Okay, so and we're peculiar and we're different for our purpose and our assignment. All right, for the way that we're going to be described as, and for the things that we do, and for the things that we have been ordained to do. Okay, so it's not, the nutrition will play a role in modifying this makeup. For instance, while we say that some people are naturally slim and tall, if the child is in an environment whereby he's overnourished, he will not be, you will see the features of, oh, you love actually, but you see that he'll be on the big side. The same way, if for someone who is supposed to be so endowed, short, stocky, and all that, is in a harsh environment, you see that that child will be lean, will be wasted, will be stunted. So the nutrition still plays a role even despite our genetic makeup.
Thank you so much. Patience is saying very through, ma. Okay, Mabel says, thank you, ma'am. Yes, understood. Okay, so you said something again. Okay, Eli Ede is saying thank you, Ma, for this insightful session. You
Thank you.
said something about differentiality. You said there's differentiality. Boys are boys, and girls are girls. I'm so happy we are saying this. God made them male and female. So, and you're saying that a boy will that must that there's always a difference. But we see in some cases where I think one of the features I know about boys, because I have all boys, is that they can be very hyperactive, always jumping and rolling and kicking. I'm the only soft touch in my house. But
And they need
in
it.
so in an instance where and you see a girl this hyperactive as a boy, she just wants to do everything a boy is doing. So what do we say about that? Should we say it is normal, or should the parents pay more attention? Or where a boy isn't really hyper like the boys, maybe it's on the quiet side, seems to tend towards the things the girls would rather do. So what do you say about that? Should it be a concern? That's my question.
Okay, it shouldn't really be a concern because again, um, among the nurture things that we're talking about, all right, is the child rearing lifestyle or the child rearing pattern. Okay, we if we want to be honest, you find out that when you're buying gifts and you have boys, it's not likely you buy a doll for them. It's not likely that you buy um maybe throw pillows, I don't know, comb or something like that. You're likely to buy a truck for them. You're likely to buy a ball for them, and so the child rearing practice also informs the behavior that child puts out. Yes, naturally, boys are they seem to have this lot of energy and this desire to try out things, do riskier things and all that. But I assure you, if you rear the boy and the girl the same way, you will have near the same outcome. Near the same outcome. But really, how many dolls have you bought for your boys?
They won't even pick it.
Exactly. You won't even buy it. You didn't buy it. If before they knew that boys, I'm buying, and you just buy dolls for that, and you fill the whole house with pink and dolls and everything like that, you find that maybe they will calm down. You understand what I'm saying? But then when they now go out, the society just let's go and play ball. But the society will not call a girl and say, let's go and play ball. All right. So our child rearing practices too is very important. Let me give you I watched a film. It was not a film, it was a research that was done, and I read it. So they had this set of girls, I think like 10, between 10 and 12 of them in a particular room, and they had the boys, about 10 to 12 of them in a particular, about the same age. And what they did was that they had taken them through some sessions of learning how to cook and all that. Then they put them in the different houses, and they were given all the things that they needed to do, all the things that they needed to cook. And guess what? When the girls were in their own house, they quickly organized themselves. Okay, you will wash plates at this time. You will tidy up this. You will cook this and all that. They organized themselves instantly. There are some little issues though, you know. But when we got to the boys' house, everything was scattered. Everything was upside down. They were, in fact, they didn't cook. They didn't cook. They were just scattered. You understand? The house was upside down. You understand me? And really, actually, the research found that it's the practice. Is our rearing practice. All right. So our rearing practice makes us tell them, you're a boy, you're supposed to be outgoing and everything like that. I know sometimes I don't know, unconsciously sometimes just say, why are you doing like a girl? Why are you behaving like a girl? and all that. So we quickly tell them that you're a boy, you're supposed to be different from a girl. No, you're not supposed to, no, 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 and all that. Now, for the girl that is up and everywhere, they refer to them as tomboys. Okay, again, sometimes because the girls are surrounded by males, okay, and they feel that, oh yes, they have to move at the same energy and all that. They rarely it may be a genetic problem, all right. Maybe the child has some genetic um problem that makes her to have an extra Y chromosome. But other than that, all right, generally, simply speaking, all right, it's more often than not raring, all right. It's a raring practice, all right. It's a
Mm.
raring practice. Yeah.
Okay, and another question similar to it, when you said it could be extra chromosome, also we've seen cases where a girl is growing and she's instead of looking feminine, she's looking masculine, and then a boy is growing and he's displaying all those feminine features. It's that of course that's I don't know what to call it. Is it abnormality now, or I don't know the right word for that. I want to ask, is there a way children with such conditions can be helped when seen? Because some people
Yes,
end
they
up
can.
hiding their, especially their sons, when it's happening for the girls. They time it tomboy and then maybe they start playing football and then they just move on. It's ma.
It may just be some hormonal imbalance. So if the child is seen in the hospital, usually the specialists that attend to such children are called endocrinologists. So once they are seen by the endocrinologist, they'll be assessed, and then they'll be given the appropriate treatment. Okay, so it's just for them to be spotted on time, and for the parents to say, is this a problem or it's not a problem? All right. If it's so severe in some situations, you even see that maybe the child may not even have clear cut genital to define whether he or she is a male or he or she is a female. All right. So if there's that kind of situation and all that, the advice is they should go to the hospital, not just private hospital or something like that. They should go to a tertiary hospital whereby they will have access, all right, to the specialists that will see them. Okay.
Thank you so much, Ma. Please, if you have your questions, please ask. I am asking my own questions. I came prepared with my own questions. So I expect you to not just listen, ask your questions. Okay, the last question on my mind is about growth. When in a case where you see a 9 years old already looking 14, 15, already having breast, nine, she's nine, but she looks way bigger than her age, and then she's nine, she's already menstruating and all of that. Is it normal? Is it something the parents should um, be concerned about
Worry.
or worried
Okay.
about it?
Um, it's not really something that the parents 9, 9, 10. It's not something that parents should be so worried about, depending on the child. If the child is very well nourished, so all this ajebota, you understand, whereby they are very well nourished, all right, the chances are the hormonal development will be as fast. All right. So all the changes that go with those hormonal changes, all the development that goes with the hormonal changes will also be seen. All right, because it's not just a function of age that causes, for instance, in girls, that causes menstruation. Even the body weight too, all right, plays a role, all right, in the secondary sexual characteristics. So if the child is otherwise doing well, fine, there's really nothing to worry about. However, before the age of, let's say, 7 years old, child started menstruating, well, the parents want to check in the hospital and find that if the child is okay. Now, having said that, one thing that parents must understand is that if you are so worried about it, if you are so worried about it, just take a drive to the hospital and say, okay, this is my concern. I'm concerned about this and all that. It's your right to know. Sometimes we're afraid that, okay, if I go, they'll say maybe I'm sounding silly. I don't know what they'll say and everything. Listen, it's your right to know. And if you don't know, then go to where you get the knowledge or the information and know. Don't let anybody talk you down. Don't let anybody say, no, and so is this what you worry yourself about? Yes, that's what I worry myself about. And I want to
Mm.
know. And that's why I'm here. All right. I tell my patient, I say, look, when I ask certain questions and I realize that you've been to another health facility and you don't have the information for me. And I'm just like, what did they tell you? Just say, well, I didn't ask you, doctor. So the doctor, and I said, but you should know. It's your right to know. All right. You should know. And if they're giving anything to your child, and not no like confrontational or argumentative, and no, just ask, just ask. All right, and you'll be told. Okay. All right.
Thank you so much, Ma. We have another question here from Adejoke. She's asking, thank you, Ma. Please, I want to ask, is it a thing of concern for a child of about 2 years and 2.5 years old who hears but not talking?
Okay. All right. So sometimes children hear but they are not talking. So the first thing I want to ask you is, um what can he even say? So I can start and say, okay, for what he can say, he's probably at this developmental age. Okay. Sometimes the children choose when they want to talk to you. They just choose, and then in some other situation, you see them, they're gisting with their friends and they're saying what they're saying. Then they come home and then they are, I'm not saying anything. Okay, so you need to assess that. If you are not comfortable, if you feel that it's something that, oh no, I'm still not comfortable with, see a speech therapist. That's what I'll say. All right, see a speech therapist. That's what I'll advise. Okay.
All right, thank you so much, Matt. So, in case you did not watch the session before this, please go back and watch. Our last speaker is a speech therapist. You will get her information and please, you can contact her. Okay, Mabel is saying, please kindly recommend a pediatric neurologist in Abuja.
National Hospital, they have a pediatrician. They have I've forgotten her name now, but if you go to National Hospital, oh, why did I forget her name? If you go to the National Hospital, all right, you're definitely going to find a pediatrician, and you're definitely going to find a pediatric neurologist. You're definitely you just there are many of them, but there's one that I wanted to mention, and it has suddenly escaped. She's a she, it has suddenly escaped my mind. But you will definitely get a pediatric neurologist in National Hospital. Definitely, I'm very sure of that. I'm very, very sure of that. Okay. So just walk to National Hospital and ask to see a pediatric neurologist. What's her name?
Okay. Thank you so much, Ma. I think we will be bringing this session to an end. But before we go, I would like you, Ma, to lay emphasis on early intervention. Our first speaker laid emphasis on early intervention today. Our second speaker laid emphasis on early intervention. And you have said a bit about it. I would like you to lay emphasis more. And also, there is this, I don't know if it's an African thing or people don't want to get to the hospital on time. Well, a lot of them rather self-medicate their children, use the roadside chemists. I hope that's not insulting. Roadside chemists. I know some of them are professionals. Instead of getting to the hospital, please, Mark, can you lay emphasis on what this can lead to if we don't get to the hospital on time with our children?
Okay. Um, let me give you let me give you a story that happened many years ago. So there was this woman that came. She came to the hospital, and when she came to the hospital, she had a child on her back. So she came in and she said she wanted to see a particular doctor. And I was on ground. So I was just like, well, the particular doctor you want to see is not on ground now. What exactly is the problem? Just to know that is that particular doctor that she wants to see. And she kept on insisting. And the doctor she wanted to see wasn't going to come in until late in the evening. And she had been there since morning. And I kept on going out to meet her to say, what exactly is the problem? You said, no, I'm waiting for this particular doctor. And I was attending to other emergencies. Okay. And while that was going on, so later in the evening, late evening, the doctor she wanted to see arrived. And then I was just like, look, there's this woman who has been waiting for you and all that. So we brought the child, she had the child on her back. So we brought the child down and realized that the child died. The child was dead. And the child was not dead since morning. The child had just died. What am I trying to say? You see, when you don't get in good time, this one was in the hospital quite all right, but she did not access the intervention the child needed in good time. That is the end of the spectrum of what can happen when you don't get in good time. Another angle that can happen is that complications can set in. And when complications set in, you will not like it. You will not even like yourself. All right, because you now see the child suffering, you also not be happy. And you really know that, oh, I could have actually stepped in good time. But maybe I should first of all address the reasons why many times people don't go to the hospital on time or people don't seek intervention on time. The first thing is fear of the unknown, fear of what you suspect. You already suspect that there's a problem and you're afraid of confronting that problem. All right? Sometimes money too can actually affect just, if I go now, they may now say that we should bring 10,000 or 5,000. I don't have that kind of money. Or maybe they will say that we should run some tests and it cost us 50,000. I don't even know. They are assumptions, but they are probably assumptions based on the fact that you probably do not have enough money to say that if they ask me to bring this amount of money, I have it. Another thing, maybe some other challenges of I don't, people. If you're in an environment whereby you need to take permission from maybe your spouse, or you need to take, and all that, some other social issues. Okay, at least those three. And then another thing is that where you don't have access, where there is not the facility you want to access is not available, all right, or is very far from you. So you keep delaying that. Okay, when I get a vehicle or when I know where I can go to, then I'll go, and then things turn out like that. But you see, the first thing is this: either fear, either finance, either whatever social problems. Get there first. So when you get there, there's no how. You will meet somebody. You will have started the process. You will have started the process. The cost may not be as much as you anticipate. What you're afraid of, you're already afraid of it, so just confront it. You already suspect it, so just confront it. And I'm telling you, early intervention helps with actually reducing the chances of complication. It reduces the cost of the final treatment or management that the child will require. All right? It reduces the risk of death, of even losing the child completely. Okay? And it also saves you from all the things I don't want people to say, I don't want people to hear, I don't want people to think that maybe my child's a problem. No, no. If the child's a problem, complication setting, people will see here. All right? So early intervention is key. I cannot overemphasize the importance of early intervention. All right, it makes the treatment cheaper. It definitely makes the treatment cheaper. All right, what you need to do to correct whatever the problem is be far easily accessible to you. than if you allow complications to set in. Okay.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you so, so much. We're so grateful to have you here. Just before you go,
Thank
please, can we have your socials, your social media? I know you're on YouTube. Yes, your social media. How can we reach you? How can we connect with you, Ma?
Okay, if you want, my email address is OYE. It's better I spell it for you than to pronounce. I'll eventually pronounce, but OYEWOAO. That's why I can write it. Do I write it in the chat, or
It
I
will
should
be picked.
just?
It will be picked. I guess.
Okay. So
Thanks.
OYEWOAO OYEWOAO at yahoo.co.uk. That's Oyewo AO at yahoo.co.uk. Okay. My YouTube channel is Adenike Jimoh. It's as simple as that.
Okay,
Okay.
so
So
yes, so please reach out, connect with her, subscribe to her YouTube channel. So much to learn. This is her field, though. This is what she does for a living, attending to children and then helping other doctors learn. That's what she does. So she is an authority in this field. So whatever she says, please let's go and listen. Follow her and listen. Once again, thank you so much, Ma, for
thank
being
you
here.
very much for having
Out
me.
of her very tight schedule, she left the meeting by 8:10 and came into this just because she needed to speak to us. Thank you so much, Ma, for your
Thank you
sacrifice.
very much for having me. Thank you for
Deeply
all you
and
do. Thank
appreciated.
you.
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you.
All
Thank you
right,
so much. More
tomorrow.
grace.
Amen, Ma. All right, tomorrow is day 5 of no conference. Praise God, hallelujah. Tomorrow we are starting 9 a.m. Please take note. Tomorrow's session is 9 a.m. Our second session is 4 p.m. And our third session will be 8 p.m. Please don't plan to miss anyone. First session is with Reverend Stella Ileloge, and she'll be talking to us about godly parenting. I look forward to tomorrow's session with both joy. And then 4 p.m. we'll be having Ade Jones, and he'll be talking to us about discipline, the biblical way. And that's why people are looking forward to that session. Why wouldn't I flog my child? Why would you say I shouldn't beat? Tomorrow we'll be looking at that. Please come prepared with your questions. And then 8 p.m. we'll be talking about technology with Charles Onoha. Please, please, please don't come alone. No. Invite people to come and join us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let us grow. Join our community. Follow our page, like us, help us grow, share, tell everybody you know to come and listen. If you have gained knowledge here, if you have been impacted, if it has worth your time, then let other people know, and let's have a fuller house tomorrow morning. All right, God bless you once again for coming. I love you dearly. Have a wonderful night rest and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.